What's up guys, welcome back, and in this video I'd like to take a look at testing with Laravel Dusk. Dusk provides you with browser testing and is the closest thing to what a real user would do on a page. For example, a user visits the page, types in some text, clicks on a drop-down menu, selects an item, and presses submit. From there, you can make assertions on the result similar to what we do in PHP Unit. This is all provided within Dusk's expressive API. So when would you use this approach over feature testing or unit testing? So that varies from person to person. For me personally, I use it when I feel like the HTTP level tests don't give me 100% confidence that the feature is working. For example, logging in or some sort of JavaScript action that happened. Also, when I don't know how to test something using HTTP tests, I just write a browser Dusk test and that gives me enough confidence. The trade-off is the speed, as tests written in Dusk are significantly slower. Okay, so let's head over to the documentation and let's install this. So the first step is to compose or require it. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's just a dev dependency, so make sure you have this flag. Okay, that's done. The next step is to do PHP Artisan Dusk install. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And what's next? So we want a separate environment for our Dusk tests. So we're going to have to make a new file called .env.dusk.local. So let's go ahead and do that. So into Sublime. And I'm just gonna grab everything in here and make a new file called .env.dusk.local. And I'll do that behind the scenes because there might be some stuff I don't want you to see. Okay, so the only change I made was this DB database key, and I'm gonna make a new database in SQL Pro here. So this is our current database. I'm going to go to database, duplicate database, and I'm going to call it -dusk. And we don't have to duplicate the content. So let's just do that. Okay. And if you go into our tests here, so there is a new one called browser, and there is an example test here. So let's see if we can run this. And to run it, just do PHP Artisan Dusk, and this will run all your browser tests. Okay, so that worked. So if you look at the test, it's just going to the home page, and Laravel does appear on the home page. So if you put some gibberish here, this should fail. So if you run it again. Okay. So I personally like to see a browser running. So if you go into Dusk test case, you can see there's this flag for headless, which means the browser is running, but it doesn't show you it. In earlier versions of Dusk, the browser did show, and I actually like that because when there's errors, sometimes I see it happen in real time on the browser. So if I comment that out, and if we run this again, you can see a browser come up. There you go. And if there's a failure, if it was too quick for you, that's fine. There's actually a section for screenshots here, and you can see the result here. But yeah, I like to turn this on, so I'll leave that on. So let's go ahead and make our first test. So I'm just gonna do a login test. If you remember in our application, users can actually log in. And this is just for their order. So we can remember details about them if they have multiple orders. And later on, we're going to add a dashboard. So let's go ahead and make a login test. You can definitely do this at the HTTP level as well, but I just want to show you how Dusk works. So PHP Artisan Dusk make login test. And that should make a new login test here. And I'm going to delete the example one. let's change this to a user can log in. And I'm going to change this to the annotation like this. Oops, just test. Okay. So this is still similar to how we write feature or unit tests, where we have to arrange, act, and assert. Let's go ahead and make a user. So we'll just use a factory. So what page are we visiting? We're visiting the login page. And let's assert that this text shows. So we can do assert C, returning customer. And we can just keep chaining on assertions here as much as we want. And we can do things like this. In the email field, we want to type the user's email. So we can just do user@user.com because we made that user up there. And in the password, we want to type password. We want to type password, which is secret, I believe, is the default one. And we want to press login. So login is the button, this button. And then we want to assert path is, and I think after logging in, they should get redirected to the home page. Actually, I think it redirects them to the last page they were on. So actually, yeah, I forgot to go to login. So we'll go to the home page first, and then we'll go to the login. So visit/login. So that should ensure that they are redirected from here to here after they log in. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this and see if it works. We have to import user. And there you go. You saw the browser in the background, and this seems to work. Let's see if it doesn't work. If we just add some text there. Oh, you see how we have a duplicate key here? That's because we are not using all the database stuff is not rolling back after the test finishes, and we actually want that to happen. So let me just go into the database and delete that user. And then we'll use, we'll roll back after each test completes. Delete that. And then, so here, we have to use the database migration trait as opposed to the refresh database trait. For Dusk, you should use migrations. It says that in the docs, actually. So that's why the other trait is not available. It's okay, we can use this one. And this should roll stuff back. Let's try it again. Okay, so this is what's expected because I changed that text. Let's see if it rolls back. So if I run it again, now it should pass. And it doesn't. What is the error? Okay, so I'm getting this error. Seems to be some sort of database migration error. And it is. It's actually relates to Voyager. And there's actually an issue for it. It's been fixed, but it's not been released yet. So unfortunately, we have to change code in the vendor directory, which is not ideal, but it will have to do for now. So actually, I already have it up here. And in this file, we just have to, this is what's in here originally. So I'm going to comment that out. And this is the fix. So if I do that and run Dusk again, let's clear that. See the browser, and we are at green. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and make another test. that tests if a user cannot log in with the incorrect credentials. So I'm going to grab this. I'm actually going to put this on top because if we put it underneath, at this point, we're already logged in and we don't want that to happen. So let's start with actually let's name this one first. A user can log in with valid credentials, and let's name this one. A user cannot log in with invalid credentials. And everything is the same except let's give it a wrong password. And we want to assert that we are still on the login page because that's what happens when you have an incorrect password. And there's also an error message. So we can do assert C credentials do not match. And let's go ahead and run both of these tests. Okay, so that worked. Cool. Usually I can see the browser in front of the terminal. Let's see if they can make that happen. Let's do that. Let's try it again. There you go, just so you can see the browser. And this is where I catch errors sometimes. Cool. We'll leave it like that for now, because all we're going to be doing is this PHP Artisan Dusk. Okay, let's go ahead and make another test. So what else is ideal to test using Dusk? So something JavaScript related. So if you remember, if we go into our cart, so we add something, and right here, if you remember, we can change quantity, and this is JavaScript based. So it's making an AJAX call, and it's updating the quantity without hitting submit. So let's go ahead and test this using Dusk. You can still test this using HTTP if you like, but again, just to demonstrate how Dusk works, let's go ahead and do that. So PHP Artisan Dusk make. Let's call it update cart quantity test. Okay. Update cart quantity test. And I'm going to change this. And let's change this. An item in the cart can update quantity. Let's go ahead and arrange everything. So we're going to make a product, factory, and now we want to visit this page. Sorry, we have to go through the whole flow of adding this to the cart. So let's visit the product page. So that would be shop, in this case, laptop 1. We want to press the button that says, okay, wait, let's assert something first. Assert C, the name of the product. And then we want to press the button that says add to cart. And then we want to assert, move this up for you guys. Assert path is /cart. And now we're on this page and we want to select another quantity here. So how do we do that? We can do select. We can give it a selector. It's actually, if you look at this, we have a class of quantity. So we can do dot quantity. And we want to select 2. And let's assert C this message. Quantity was updated successfully. Grab that, put it here, and let's see if this works. So back to our console. Let's run Dusk. So this is going to run everything actually. Yeah. So to run just one file, we have an error, but to run just one file, it's the same as PHP unit. So you just do, and you specify the path. So it will be browser, and then what's this called? Update. Yeah. Let's run it again. Okay. So what is the error? Oh yeah, we have to import. We have to use the this database migrations. Sorry, use. Let's try it again. Sorry, this slug should be laptop-1. Should be a slug. Okay, let's give that another try. Okay. So it seems to not be able to find this text. I think that's because we're using Ajax, and if we can actually wait for a second, or for some given amount of time, say 1 second, and I think this should fix it. So run it again. And now we're at green. Cool. So there you have it, guys. We've managed to use Laravel Dusk to scaffold out a few tests using browser tests to simulate how a user would actually go through the flow of an application. Again, it's up to you if you want to use feature tests or browser tests. And me personally, I use both, and a lot of times I have a lot of overlap, but that's okay because I have more confidence that my code is working. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.